Hey everybody, I'm McJilton. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of VolTalk. Tonight on Vol Life, Emma Kate Hall from SGA joins me. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Yeah, thank you for asking me. I'm happy to be here.
Yes. So we're going to talk a little bit homecoming. Obviously, that's coming up next week. So tell me a little bit. I know you sat in on a few meetings about the process of planning events for homecoming. Tell me about that experience.
So I've been involved with organizations on campus that obviously are very heavily involved in programming and planning things, but the homecoming committee and events are really unique because it's not just aimed at the student body, it's aimed at the community and alumni and families and staff, and so getting to hear all of those university entities and organizations talk about how they're going to get people involved from, alumni across the country and alumni in the community and just the Knoxville community to bridge the gap kind of between people who are really into UT and people who are into Knoxville was really interesting to see all of the work that goes into getting people onto our campus and celebrating all that it means to be a volunteer. And so that was just really cool to see because that priority doesn't happen a lot,
Right.
especially in a student organization on campus.
Yeah, I know homecoming is definitely one of my favorite weeks every year.
Yes.
And it's really cool getting to meet different alumni that are in town. I know I'm from Atlanta and my neighbors from home, them and their two little boys, they come up every year.
Wow.
So it's always so fun to kind of bond over that, like I used to babysit their boys, so they come up and it's like homecoming is just a huge deal. And I think it's, we do it a little bit different than other SEC schools, so that's what I really love about it. So talk to me a little bit about your involvement with homecoming this year.
So this year my role is a little bit different, but in the Student Government Association, one of the biggest committees of student services is the UT Traditions, and so they are the ones who plan the homecoming bonfire, and so that is like SGA's biggest event during homecoming week. And last year I was the director of traditions, and so I really had a lot more hands-on work in actually putting it together. But this year my role is serving as the assistant student services director for the Student Government Association, and so a lot of what I'm doing this year is kind of guiding this year's current leadership of UT Traditions on what to do and how to do it. Since I did just do it a year ago, it's still pretty fresh in my brain of the timeline of who to call and when to call, and really there is so much going on campus that it's a lot more complicated than planning an event for any Thursday, because you can just pretty much assume that most venues on campus would be open, but during homecoming week there's something going on everywhere, and you have to start planning it in March or April, to make sure that you get the place and all the supplies and the resources and the donations and things that you want for your event to go well. And so this year I'm kind of on the other side of it and not making as many phone calls, but still tracking a timeline and just encouraging the other students in SGA to be doing it, because it's a big job. Anything going on in SGA, or especially during homecoming week, it's a big job.
Yeah. So I know you said last year you were in charge of planning the bonfire, which I know is a huge event for homecoming, and obviously large attendance there.
Yes.
So I think that's something that is really cool, and getting to be in charge of something that big on campus where, kind of uniting campus together. I know we kind of, like last week on our show, we kind of talked about unity on campus, and I think that's one of those events that really portrays that for
sure.
UT. But tell me a little bit about that. What was the experience like for you?
It was absolutely the biggest undertaking I had ever done, and probably still that I've ever done as a student in an organization on campus, because there's so many moving parts and so many more than I ever thought when I was like, okay, time to dive into the bonfire. It's fine, we got it. And then once you get into it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so much more than I ever thought it was going to be. But it is a lot of really, communication is the number one thing that you have to be focusing on, because you're communicating with people in nearly every office on campus, I would imagine. Lots of external vendors and people in the community, and the homecoming bonfire, since it's a homecoming week event, is not just for students. So publicizing it to alumni and their families and the Knoxville community and Knoxville businesses. One of the things that we actually do at the bonfire is we always do a drawing for prizes that have been donated, and that's a way to kind of, again, bridge that gap between Knoxville and UT. And we go to the boutiques and the little businesses around Knoxville, and it's like, we would love to, promote you and promote Knoxville through that way, and, give prizes out that way. But it was a very successful event. I think it was the highest attendance of an SGA event ever. So we had over 350 people.
That was incredible.
And it was awesome. And people are making s'mores, and there's I think Dean VCVC and typically university administration and faculty and lots of families out there with the Spirit Squad running their pep rally, and Smokey is out there, and really it is just such a night of UT spirit that you just get a little bit of overwhelmed with the orange, I think.
It definitely is, definitely is. I mean, the whole homecoming week itself is just one thing after the next, and it's just like the fun never ends.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about what we can expect for this year's bonfire.
So we are riding the wave of high attendance last year and really doing all we can to keep keep that up. We are publicizing a little bit better outside of the university, I guess, community this time. A lot more connections with outside businesses and vendors and things like that. Volunteer Traditions is playing a huge role in our bonfire this year, and Bren's Pizza always helps us out, and it's so much food that they give us, and they are really just a fabulous campus partner. They love UT and they love the students so much. So we're going to have lots of pizza. We typically have, in addition to the big bonfire, we have a couple of smaller ones where students can roast s'mores. So we'll have s'mores, and there's snacks and pizza, and the Spirit Squad will be there to run their pep rally, and we always sing the alma mater at the end, and then there's prizes, and really it's one of the most low-key kind of events that you can go to, because it's not a speaker, it's not something that you kind of have to participate in. It's just truly we are throwing a party because we're so excited to be volunteers, and we're so excited to be doing this in homecoming week. So it's just so much fun.
Yeah, and that's what I love about it, is you can go and just be yourself. Go with your friends, socialize, meet new people, and I love getting to also meet other people in the community. Like you said, Bren's Pizza, they're always so great to the university with any event that happens. So what time, when is the bonfire this year?
Yes, so this year it's actually next Thursday night, which is Halloween. So it's on October 31st, and it's from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. in Fiji Island in Fraternity Park.
Awesome.
Yeah.
As I can probably assume, the bonfire is probably your favorite part of homecoming. Yes or no?
I think I would have to say yes. I've always loved the feeling of being around a bonfire on a fall evening, especially before a big football game. And then when you throw in Smokey and a big dose of volunteer spirit, just what more could you ask for?
Exactly. There you go. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Guys, the bonfire will be next Thursday at 10 p.m. Fiji Island. We hope to see you guys there. Coming up next, Courtney joins me for Vol Experiences.